Thanks for joining me for this edition of the Church Security Answer Man. As always, I'm glad that you're taking a moment to spend some time here. And I want to talk to you today right away about avoiding conflict with people. And, we've done our polls and I get your emails and your comments about how you need training. And so I want to make sure and try to use my experience as a former law enforcement leader and a church security member and leader as well, and provide you with some actual training. And I recommend to you that you go over to our website, churchsecurityanswerman.com, and right there, you can find the free stuff and go to the free forms, and you'll find a training documentation form. Download that, send me your email, I'll send you the form, and then you can put that in a file, document it, write down your training, and now you can document it in your church file and your personal file that you're doing some training on avoiding conflicts. So let's get started right away with this discussion, if you will. So first thing as we talk about avoiding conflict, we can, honestly, the church is our property. So in most regions, most states, most countries that we're talking about here. So if you're in the US, Canada, those kind of places, we can typically, it's our property. We can ask people to leave. We can tell people what they have to do when they're at church. It may not be politically correct or family friendly kind of thing to tell people, but sometimes we may get into that just because we're security and we forget and we get into that mode of when we're dealing with somebody's backpack or something that, you need to let me look at it or you have to leave. So I want to put a little different perspective on it and trying to avoid that conflict and talk about, maybe here, if you look, the first thing we can do is ask for their cooperation. We can tell them what to do. And in some cases, they may have to do it or they can't come into our service or our auditorium. But why not ask them to do it? So we want to talk a little bit about that, set an understanding with them. And that's basically telling them why we're wanting them to do that, explaining it to them. And again, instead, it's getting rid of the authority dynamic, if you will. It's a lot more efficient to ask people than to command them or tell them. And so we're looking at those kind of things, giving them the options. I think it's good to share the good and bad options with people and be very specific with them. And we're going to talk about that. And then, of course, with good tone, give some confirmation to people. And as I always say in my trainings, you got to have the action part. You got to be thinking about what your plan is. If they don't comply or if the conflict gets worse, if you will, are you going to escape? Are you going to try to take control? How does that process look like? And we're talking about that all the time, if you will. So in our different vlogs here and our different information that we put out. So avoiding conflict, the first one I mentioned, ask. Just ask for them to comply. You could tell them, you could command them, but commanding is not as efficient as we're talking about. So why not just ask them, sir, could I ask you to let me look in your backpack? Just ask them. Again, there's probably a good chance that they have to let you look in their backpack, or they have to put it in a room, or they have to go put it back in their car, or they have to leave. I mean, there's a good chance that that's your rules, or you should be looking at those kind of rules because backpacks could be a dangerous situation depending on what's in that backpack. Could be. So why not ask them if you can look in it? Or why not ask them if you could put it in a side room? We know what the end result is going to be. They're going to have to do it or they're going to have to leave, but why not ask? Ma'am, could I please ask you to park over there? Maybe this person cannot park where they're trying to park. And so you're going to do something about it. Even if they're going to insist on leaving it there, maybe you would tow it. But instead of commanding them, why not ask them to please move the car? And the same as the next example, ma'am, could I ask you to move your car, please? Simply asking. Think about how hard it is for you and I if somebody commands us to do something. If somebody says, you're going to do this, think about how much harder it makes it for us to want to do that. And the last example, could I ask you to please not talk so loudly? So, and that happens every once in a while. We get folks that are visiting. I get that all the time in my church. They're just outside the auditorium doors, and they're insisting on carrying on a full, loud conversation, which can be heard into the auditorium. So we need to be able to ask people, could you please, do they have to talk quieter? Yes, you're going to insist on that, or you're going to insist on them going outside or leaving, probably, I'm guessing. So why not just ask them not to talk so loudly? It's more efficient than commanding them again or telling them they have to do it, even though we know the result is going to be that they have to do it or there's going to be consequences of some sort. Next, set an understanding with them or tell them why this situation is going on. You know, don't forget, we've talked about it in other videos and other training that the number one question most all of us have is why. You might even be asking yourself that question during this training. Why is Joe going over this? Why is Joe talking about this? Because we're always asking ourselves why in this process. So why not tell people that during your conversation about what you need them to do? So, sir, we're talking to you because we do not allow backpacks to go into our auditorium due to the fact that some people have been known to carry weapons or explosives in their packs at churches. So just explain to them why. And that sounds reasonable, and begins to explain to me, the curious person, or the person that's always asking why, that begins to explain to me why you want to look at my backpack. So, or why you want me to put it somewhere. Those kind of things, is explaining it to me and telling me why that situation is, answering that question. And by the way, difficult people, if this is a difficult person, we know statistically that we might have to ask them 4 or 5 times to do this. We might have to repeat things 4 or 5 times to get them to actually comply. So they may ask us further questions, and we've got to kind of repeat this same information of telling them why. I'm speaking to you because one of our church members was concerned that you were standing over here by yourself, talking to yourself. So explain it to them. Most people, even if they have a mental health issue or a mental health situation, are going to understand when you explain to them what your perspective is and the why that you're here to talk to them. So, and again, so much more efficient than commanding somebody or just telling them. And sometimes we'll forget, especially if we're busy. If I'm busy running around and this is going on right when, I can imagine for me, right when it's time to close the doors or get ready to take offering and we're starting video streaming, there's several things going on that I might kind of be a little bit involved with or might be helping people with. And then all of a sudden I have this issue. So I might tend to want to go over and say to the person, you can't stand here and talk to yourself that loud. You got to go over there. Versus taking a moment and explaining to them why I'm actually here, and then asking them if they could move. We begin to put these ideas together, and it becomes much more conducive to somebody being compliant and understanding, because we're explaining the natural idea of why are we doing this, and then we're trying to make it easier to get them to comply. Explaining the options to them, the good and the bad, both sides. Here's your options. Again, more friendly than just barking at them or telling them what they have to do. Some simple little things that we can try to employ to avoid conflict. Sir, the church rules say that you cannot bring this item into our church, and I want you to be here without problems or issues. But if you cannot put that back in your car or take it home, you will be required to leave the church building and not attend our service. And I'm sure you do not want those problems. I'm sure you'd like to attend our church service, and I don't want you to have to leave. Just explaining to them the good and bad. We don't have to just give the good. We don't have to just give the bad. Explain it, and you're really going into depth more, supporting the why. This is why we can't have backpacks in here, and these are the options. And really the options are, you got to do something with the backpack. You got to, maybe in some cases, you got to let us look in it. Maybe in some cases, go put it back in your car, go run it home real quick. Whatever those options look like, But basically, we have to have compliance with that. And I'm asking you, I'm explaining to you why, and I'm giving you the options. And to me, that's such a better conversation than just saying, you can't have your backpack in here. We don't allow backpacks in here. I mean, that is such a harsh conversation, just an abrupt, we don't allow backpacks. Now, it might get to that point where you've explained it 4 or 5 times, and this person is still insisting that they're not going to comply with the rules. And I get that. Then we get to that point where it gets a little harsher with our discussion, a little bit more pushing our direction or the need to get them to comply. But the first few times, why not go through this process with them and ask them to be compliant, explain to them why, and give them the good and the bad options. That's such a smoother, I like it. That's such a smoother transition, if you will. And with good tone, give some confirmation to that, kind of nudging them a little bit, and really use your tone. Remember, we've discussed before that 38% of your communication process is your tone. Your ability to influence the communication process is pushing 40% is just your tone. So if you and I are not using our tone, we are missing out on something big, especially when we're trying to have a welcoming, friendly environment. We got to use our tone to show empathy and sympathy and those kind of things. So given our confirmation, sir, is there anything I could say to get you to comply with our rules concerning backpacks? I would like to believe so. I mean, how good does that sound now? We're finishing it up. We're still not quite getting the compliance, but we're adding a little bit of tone to our discussion. And man, that sounds so much better when you start adding that tone. Man, it sounds like I understand his perspective a little bit, but I've got our perspective, and I believe in him, and I want him to be here. I mean, adding that tone just sounds so much better. The next one, is there anything I could say to get you to not talk so loudly? I would like to believe so. And again, we're looking at, this is one of our, our final offers to try to get compliance. And we're giving some confirmation with good tone and really kind of underlining what we've been talking about. Ma'am, is there anything I could say to get you to move your car and not park here? I'd like to believe so. And the more tone you can practice, the more tone that you can give in this process, so much better to avoiding that conflict, if you will. And then don't forget, moving to action. Being ready for that. What's your action plan if this person is still not willing to comply? And don't forget, it could take multiple times, 4 or 5 times of going through this process to get a difficult person to comply with us, if you will. So, and then really, as I'm finishing this up, it's a quick little discussion, but so if I follow this process every time, how does it look, or how does it help me in the process to avoid conflict? And one of those things is, sometimes people are going to question, are you avoiding conflict? Are you trying to avoid? Are you being too stern? And it's really important that you and I are working on that balance. Remember, a welcoming, friendly environment and versus security. So that's very important, that balance. And this is a great way, looking at this avoiding conflict principle and then adding your tone to it. Boy, what a great way to get the reputation of being a friendly person, of being the nice girl or the nice guy, or, that's what I want for you, is to be that security person, but also the person that has the reputation of, that is just the nicest person. Boy, I just love running into that person out in the parking lot. I love running into that person at the front door, in the lobby, and I just love visiting with them or being greeted by them, and just a warm and friendly person. That is awesome for multiple things, our purpose, for what God wants us to do in our ministries and our security and taking care of people. That's the whole package if you and I can work out that balance. Thanks so much for joining me. Now, I hope you'll go get that form, churchsecurityanswerman.com. Look in the upper menu, look for the free stuff, find the training completion roster, training completion form, documentation form. You have to put in an email, and then I'll send you that form. That's the easiest way for me to send it to you. It does put you on a list that you'll get a few more emails from me, and then they stop after a short time. And then while you're there, churchsecurityanswerman.com, there's all kinds of other things over there. We've got free stuff. We've got training. If you want some basic training for your volunteers or for yourself, you want to gather some credentials, it's a great place to get started over there and maybe get your whole team on the same page, get yourself thinking about how you need to be better at your security, if you will. There's all kinds of stuff over there for you. And I encourage you to like and subscribe. If you're finding value here, like and subscribe to this page. Get in contact with us. Let's get this constant dialogue going. Leave me a comment wherever you can, and I try to answer those things, especially down below. And we've got all kinds of information down below for you. Products that I recommend, radios, all kinds of things. We're trying to provide lots of supportive information here for you. So you can look down in the description section, comments, and find more information that we're trying to provide for you. Thanks again for joining me. I hope you have a safe and secure week.